Good evening, guys. Thanks for tuning in to The Extra Point. I'm Horace Priester, and here on the panel with me is Willie Clark, Zach Clark, and Willie Webb, guests with us on the show today. We're going to start off the show by doing a recap of the Clemson versus Appalachian State game where the Tigers took home the win 42-10. Can you guys elaborate a little bit more on that?
Clemson's defense looked pretty good throughout the entire game. They had a lot of big stops, forced a few turnovers, and just looked pretty good overall.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson looked pretty good. 3 touchdowns. He really commanded the offense well. It's pretty promising. It looks like a promising season up to come. I like what I saw.
This week, the Tigers take on Louisville tomorrow night on ESPN. Thursday night matchup is the first road game for the Tigers. Are you guys worried at all? Louisville's 0-2 right now, taking a loss to Auburn in the season opener, and Houston had a huge upset on them last week. And I think they were at home as well. So they're 0-2 going in this game, definitely hungry for a win at home. This is the Tigers' first kind of road test against in-conference team. What are you guys worried about? What are you excited about? And what do you think the outcome is going to be?
I'm actually not worried at all. I'm pretty confident in our offense. I think Deshaun has a good enough command on the offense that he can go out there any Saturday, any Thursday night on whatever stage and deliver the goods.
It's a Thursday night game, short week of practice. You never know what could happen. It's a away game, like you said, first true road game of the season. Louisville, they always come to play on Thursday nights. Last season they played Florida State, forced a lot of turnovers against Jameis Winston. Deshaun's going to definitely have to limit his turnovers Thursday night.
I'd say the biggest thing for the Tigers is I'd say we have to stay strong on defense. We've only got 3 returning starters from last year. And a huge thing for Louisville, I'd say, if they want to be successful against just Clemson's defense, who I think played an impressive game against Appalachian State, is to limit their turnovers. Last week they had 5 turnovers. And when you've got that many, everybody knows you can't get a W in any situation against any team. So that's definitely what I'm looking for. What other games were you guys seeing last week in college football that surprised you maybe? And what are you guys looking forward to this week?
Well, I think we should start off with the Auburn game for one. I was really shocked to see, Auburn nearly lose because I had, coming into the season, they had a lot of, hype. They had a lot of hype with the quarterback, and they were ranked pretty high. I believe they were 6 last week. So I was really shocked to see that they struggled, against an unranked opponent. But they did, pull it out in the end. But I was still shocked nonetheless.
Yeah, that Auburn game shocked me a lot. Playing against Jacksonville State, you usually think a team like Auburn is going to blow them out, but they struggled throughout the entire game and barely got the win. But one game that really shocked me was the Notre Dame and Virginia game. Notre Dame's quarterback Malik Zaire went down with a broken ankle, and injuries, they come through every season. Ohio State had to deal with it last year, moving through 3 quarterbacks, but we'll have to see who steps up. It's going to be quarterback Deshaun Kaiser. He came in big against Virginia, threw 2 touchdowns, and they were able to get the victory.
Yeah, it definitely showed some weakness in kind of the top 10. It shows that none of these teams are really unbreakable. Notre Dame, even though they had that close game against Virginia, they actually went up a spot in the polls. But Auburn dropped, I believe, from 6 to I believe they're 18 now in the latest AP poll, so that was a huge drop for them. So they're definitely looking to get some more momentum. This week, Auburn takes on LSU. So LSU is 13, Auburn is 18. So that's a huge matchup. What's your predictions on that? Who's taking home the W?
I have LSU taking it home pretty easily. Leonard Fournette, Heisman hopeful. He's a star for them. He's a beast. He'll probably get about 2 or 3 touchdowns, probably over 100 yards rushing.
Same. I'm going to go with LSU in this game. Confident in the talent they have on that roster. And Auburn really scared me last week, struggling with Jacksonville State. So LSU.
Another matchup this week is Notre Dame versus Georgia Tech. A lot of Clemson fans want Notre Dame to take this W, so when they come to Clemson, they'll be undefeated, and it probably will get College Game Day, I bet. Who do you guys want to win this game, and who do you guys think will win this game? Georgia Tech's looked really impressive. Do you think Notre Dame can stop their triple option offense? What's your take on it?
Well, I think I like Notre Dame in this game. I want them to win. Do I think they will win? Probably not, because as I stated, Malik Zaire is out with an injury. You don't know how that backup quarterback is going to play, and that triple option is something dangerous that Georgia Tech runs, and they have an experienced quarterback.
Same. I'm going to go with Georgia Tech in this game. Notre Dame, kind of the same with Auburn. They scared me last week, and they lost their starting quarterback. I would like to see them win being a Clemson student, but I really don't think it's likely. Georgia Tech is a tough ball club. Like you said, the triple option is really tough to stop. And those guys, there's some warriors on that Georgia Tech roster.
Do you guys see Georgia Tech taking the Coastal Division, the ACC? I know the big talk is Clemson versus Florida State. That's usually the Atlantic kind of matchup. Winner goes to the ACC championship. Do you see any kind of teams in the ACC who could beat Georgia Tech, or are they kind of unbreakable as far as ACC play goes?
As far as ACC play goes, I don't see anybody in the Coastal Division side beating Georgia Tech. Maybe Clemson later on in the season has a chance to beat them, but I don't see anybody on the Coastal side.
Yeah, I think we can beat them. Like I said, I'm really confident in Deshaun Watson. I'm really confident in the offense and, Deshaun Watson's command on it. Like, I really think we can just go out there and compete with anybody. Offensively and defensively, we're solid defensively. So I think we can beat them.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think Tech is going to take home the win. And I honestly believe they're going to come into the Clemson-Georgia Tech game undefeated. And I bet that will be College Game Day for sure. That's a huge ACC matchup. Can you guys give me the latest on what's going on? Ohio State, their quarterbacks, a lot of moving around. What's the latest on them?
They have a lot of talent on their roster. Braxton Miller actually moved out to a wide receiver. I believe Cardell Jones only threw one pass last week. So I think they're going with JT Barrett at the quarterback position. It's going to be interesting to see if anybody can knock them off. They really only true contest they have left is Michigan State and Michigan. Those are the last two games of the regular season.
Look, Ohio State's off their roster is loaded with talent. I don't really see anybody beating those guys. JT and Cardell, yeah, they have that going on with them, but you can really plug any one of those two guys in on that with that offense, the talent around them, and they can go out and beat anybody.
What do you think, Zach? Do you see Ohio State in that Final Four playoff, or do you think they're going to miss it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have a good shot to get back as long as they keep winning. I don't see anybody beating them in their regular season.
I got you. How about Oregon and Michigan State? That recap. Oregon fell, I believe, 5 spots after they took that loss. Do you guys agree that it should have dropped out of the top 10? Or do you think maybe they should have been reserved kind of a spot that maybe Notre Dame took? A lot of people think that they still should stay in the top 10 just because they lost to such a great opponent. What do you guys think?
I agree with that. It was a really close game. It wasn't like it was a blowout. The game was played pretty close. Oregon had a chance to win the game at the end, so I definitely don't agree with them falling 5 spots. I think they should have stayed in the top 10. I saw some promising things from the Oregon team, but they'll have a chance to redeem themselves down the line and get back in that top 10 and hopefully make the playoff.
I actually disagree. I think they should have fell out the top 10, which they did. To lose like that early in the season, even though it was a good opponent, you still have other teams that's undefeated. They play good talented teams, and they can come back from this. They can move back up as the season continues.
What do you guys think about Michigan State? Are you putting Michigan State in your what's your Final Four? Who's going to the college football playoff? Who's in? Who's not? And how far is Michigan State going in that whole process?
Well, for sure, I have Ohio State going. They're probably going to be the number 1 team. They're probably going to stay atop the rankings this whole season. Definitely a SEC team, maybe Alabama if they can continue to win. Whoever comes out of the ACC, Florida State, Clemson, Georgia Tech, whoever just comes out of that group is definitely going to make it. Maybe TCU and Baylor, depending on how that matchup goes later on in the season.
Yeah, I actually don't have Michigan State in my top 4 either. I'm actually right along the lines with Zach, with Ohio State being 1. I would say Alabama for sure coming out the SEC. The ACC, I think we'll win. Clemson, I think Clemson will win the ACC and come out and represent the ACC in the college football playoff. And I would probably go with TCU over Baylor.
You don't think UGA is making the cut?
Georgia, they have a nice offense. I think they rely heavily on Nick Chubb and Sony Michel, those running backs. They brought in several great running backs. the past few years. But I think they have a transfer quarterback from Virginia, so that's going to be interesting to see how he does throughout the season.
Taylor, back me up if I'm wrong on this, but I believe they play Alabama later in the season at home, so that's going to be a huge test for Georgia to see if they can make the college football playoff. But the big game this weekend that everyone's waiting for is the Alabama versus Ole Miss rematch. Everybody's been talking about it. Chad Kelly leading the Rebels against Alabama for College Game Day. Who's getting the win? Do you think Ole Miss can hang in there with Alabama? Do you think they can get the win? What do you guys think?
I think it'll be a close game, but I got Alabama pulling it out.
I wouldn't be shocked if it's an upset. Ole Miss defense is top-notch. Robert Kimdichie at defensive end, he's dangerous. He's a threat. If they can stop Derrick Henry in that running attack of Alabama, they have a legitimate shot.
Any score predictions?
I go 27-24 Alabama.
I would say something along the lines 31-27 Alabama.
Awesome. The last game we're going to cover for college football is BYU versus UCLA. Number 19 versus number 10. That's a huge game just for deciding who's going to kind of stay in the mix and kind of in the talk of the serious contenders for the playoff. That's our last matchup for college. Give me one kind of rundown about that team and that matchup.
UCLA coming in ranked 10th in the country against BYU with Josh Rosen at quarterback. I like what I saw from him in week 1 against Virginia. Didn't have a great week last week against UNLV, but I think he'll get back on track this week and pull off the win against BYU.
And BYU, they're without their starting quarterback, Taysom Hill, and backups came in. He's produced 2 wins off Hail Mary, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do against UCLA if it comes down to a last-minute decision.
Awesome. Changing directions kind of to the NFL. The league was insane over the weekend, first week of NFL football. What do you guys think was like, there was a lot of big like upsets, crazy games, close games that people didn't think teams were going to hang in. They got the win, for instance, Seahawks and Rams. Who do you guys think was, if you had to choose one game from the weekend that, going back, you can only watch one game, what was that game? What was the biggest game in your mind of the weekend, the most influential, and why?
I think I would have to go with the Bills against the Colts. Bills were able to get to Andrew Luck a few times throughout that game, force some turnovers, and coming into the season, everybody thought the Colts had a legitimate shot to get out of the AFC, and Rex Ryan mastered up the defensive plan and got to Andrew Luck for some turnovers, and that was a big win for the Bills.
I think I'm going to go with the general public on this one and go with the Rams versus the Seahawks. It was a huge win for the Rams. They really put themselves on the map and showing that they're taking that next step, beating the Seattle Seahawks. It came down to actually a controversial play similar to what happened in the Super Bowl. Pete Carroll decided to give Marshawn Lynch the ball, and he didn't get it. He didn't pick up the first down. But a lot of people had a lot to say about that. But Seattle had a chance to win the game. The Rams ended up pulling it off. So, yeah.
I thought that was very interesting about Marshawn Lynch getting that 4th and 1 call. It kind of was like the test, like, could he, of course it's a different game, totally different circumstances, but like, can he get that yard when you really want him? A lot of people hated that they ran it out of the shotgun. I gotta agree with you with the Seahawks-Rams is the biggest game, but in close second, really enjoyed the Monday night game, Atlanta versus Philadelphia. Really impressed with Julio Jones, of course. Last week, me and Anderson were talking about breakout players. He told me Julio Jones was going to have a huge year, definitely had a massive start, and I agreed with him and second that with Matt Ryan having a breakout year. Both of them played great. Julio played amazing. Matt Ryan, he can do better, but it was definitely improvement from kind of his average game that he would play last season. It was great to see. What do you guys, what's the matchup this Thursday? Tomorrow night, what's going on in the NFL?
We got the Broncos and the Chiefs on Thursday Night Football.
Chiefs, they got a big win last week against the Texans. Alex Smith played phenomenal, had over 300 yards passing, and Travis Kelce had a big game as well at tight end position. The Broncos pass rushers are definitely going to have to create some pressure, get some pressure on Alex Smith, and try to get the ball out of his hands quickly.
Yeah, I didn't really like what I saw from the Broncos last week, but this is a new week. They get to come in and, you know, prove themselves once again. Peyton didn't look too great against the Ravens. He missed on a lot of throws. He didn't really play his, you know, typical average game, especially to start off a NFL season. So, yeah, I think it'll be an interesting matchup tomorrow. I like what I saw from the Chiefs, though, with Justin Houston. He's going to be in Peyton Manning's face all day tomorrow. So it's not going to be an easy challenge for the Broncos.
And speaking of Peyton Manning, his brother has the league going crazy. I'm sure you guys have all heard about how he told his running back not to score. Do you guys kind of agree with that play call in that situation? Do you totally blame him for the loss? What's your take on Eli for the past weekend?
I definitely think the running back should have tried to score. You just don't give up points like that, especially in a tight ball game. Cowboys at home, you just can't do that. That third and goal call to throw the ball, I don't know why they decided to do that, but I definitely would not have done that. Run the ball, take time off the clock, and try not to get the ball back to the Cowboys without getting a touchdown right there.
Yeah, if you definitely try to score. You don't do anything like that. Had they scored, I believe they would have put themselves up. They would have put themselves ahead. I think they would have had to go for 2. They would have put themselves ahead, extensively. I didn't understand the whole controversy, though.
As you students, all you guys out there watching know, this week and next week is kind of our exam week, so you got a lot of stuff going on. But we're going to do a different kind of exam. This week we're going to be examining and giving some grades on some players and some teams from the weekend. The first one that we're going to give an exam to is Marcus Mariota. What do you guys grade him?
Well, you want to go first?
I'll go first. I think you have to give him an A. I would give Marcus Mariota an A. He had 4 touchdowns, only threw 16 passes. 25% of his throws went for a touchdown. 209 yards, I believe. And they had a very, very, very big win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I would go with an A.
I think I might have to go with the B. Just because of the fact he only threw 16 passes. He only threw 16 passes in the ball game. I think that played a big role in his success. Threw 4 touchdowns. They ran the ball pretty well. Bishop Sankey had a good game for the Titans. We'll see how they do this week.
I definitely agree with you guys on that. You got to give Mariota. Well, actually, I disagree with you, Zach. I feel like I totally agree with Willie on that. You got to give Mariota the 4.0. I believe he threw 4 touchdowns and just played a hell of a game for a rookie. Honestly, I think he broke all kinds of records for a rookie debut. But on the other side of the sideline, on the other side of the field, you've got Jameis Winston. What do you guys grade him in his exam?
You can go first on this one.
Jameis, I don't think he did too bad as everyone thought he probably did. I have to give him a C on this one. He played against a good defense. Dick LeBeau, the defensive coordinator for the Titans, he does a great job against rookie quarterbacks, coming up with schemes to try to mess them up and get them off their rhythm. He made it very hard for Jameis to have a good game, but overall, I think he had a solid performance for his first game.
You surprised me. I thought you were going to give him an F. I'm going to go with a C as well. It was his first game. He didn't really play as bad as many people think. I think it's got a lot to do with that one pick 6. And many people think that was the story of his game. He didn't really play a bad game, especially for it being his first game. Something you expect, a first-year rookie to go out there and do. 16 to 33, 210 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Not necessarily a horrible line. Definitely not deserving of an F. I think it was an average performance for a rookie quarterback.
What about Julio Jones taking on the Eagles, just completely burning their secondary all night long? Does he get the A grade? Is he still on a B? Is he not quite there yet? What do you guys think?
I definitely have to give Julio an A. He destroyed Byron Maxwell the entire game, and the Eagles just did not make any adjustments to try to cover him, double team, or anything. So he definitely had a great game. I give him an A.
I believe an A is too low of a grade to give Julio Jones.
Okay.
Julio had a great game, unstoppable. There was nothing the Eagles could do. 9 receptions, 133 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Just ridiculous.
How about the Manning brothers? Who's got the higher GPA between those two? Who's got the better report card after this week?
Well, that's kind of hard. I'll probably have to go with Eli. Just the fact that they almost came away with the victory against a division rival on the road, and just came up a few plays short, a few bad decisions. And even though Peyton's team got the win, he didn't really play great himself as an individual. Interception, no touchdown passes, and I would have to go with Eli.
Yeah, it's really a push for me, so I'm going to go with Peyton. Peyton got the win. It's a push for me. Both guys didn't play great. Both guys really didn't play great. I mean, Peyton was 24 of 40 for 170 yards and an interception. Eli, 20 of 36 for 193 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. So I feel like a push game, so I'm just going to go with with Peyton, because he got the win.
So Peyton's got the better score on this one?
In my opinion, yes.
Okay, cool. What about the Seahawks secondary? Legions of Boom, if there's any of them even left back there. But what's their grade on their exam this week?
I don't think they did too terrible as a whole, as a unit. I probably have to give them a B. They're missing Cam Chancellor. He's a very vocal leader on that defense. They basically say he's the heartbeat of that defense, and missing him, hopefully he comes back in the next few weeks and they can get back on track and get everything situated in that secondary.
I would agree. I would go with the B as well. They didn't play terrible. They didn't play great, though. But they didn't have – Nick Foles threw for 297 yards and a touchdown, but most of it went to, running backs and tight ends, not really anything to any receivers.
What about Cam Chancellor? What's his grade?
I have to give him a F right now.
F, there it is. Okay.
He's definitely going to need to get his contract situated, hopefully get back on the field for his team and for his brothers in the secondary. Hopefully he can get back on the field very soon.
Definitely deserving of an F.
So on Monday night, we've been talking about a lot the Falcons versus Eagles game. How do you guys feel about the Falcons defense in that game? Did they perform what you guys thought, kind of like mediocrely? What do you guys think?
Go first.
The Falcons defense, I think they did a pretty good job. They limited the rushing yards for DeMarco Murray. Didn't really have a breakout game. They got pressure on Sam Bradford, Vic Beasley, and another Clemson player, defensive tackle. Got a lot of pressure, and they did pretty good.
Yeah, I would say the Falcons defense played pretty well. Young defense, but they definitely did pretty well against Chip Kelly and the offensive wizard he is. Warlow was all over the place for them last night. I believe Vic Beasley played pretty well as well. Bradford did throw for 336 yards, but he had 2 turnovers. He turned the ball over twice. Falcons did a pretty good job, being in his face, confusing him just a little bit. And yeah, I would say they played pretty well.
Yeah, I got to agree with you on that. I feel like it was kind of a tale of two halves for the Falcons defense, though. I feel like they really came right out the gate, playing hard, stopping the Eagles to basically nothing in the first half, but then kind of fell apart in the second half. And I feel like that's where Bradford kind of padded his stats a little bit in that game. We're going to go on to give me a look at. Oh, we've actually got a caller right now, Anderson, our other host who's usually on the panel with us. We've got a phone call from him, so we'll get to that call right now. Can you hear me, Anderson?
Yeah. What's up? You there?
Hello.
Hello?
Hey, man, can you hear me?
Are we good? I hear screeching.
Yo, Anderson. We'll get right back to him, but what do you guys think about this week in the NFL? What's the preview?
A preview this week or?
Oh, there he is. Thanks. Sorry, guys. He's out there somewhere.
Sounds good. Hey, guys. You guys there?
You hopping in?
You guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Also coming up, we got Matthew's going to be joining the panel, our other weekly analyst, I'd say, for the Extra Point. Looking forward to that. We're going to be looking at the remainder of the show, the Thursday night matchup tomorrow night, and just we're going to be looking around the league for this weekend, and maybe some fantasy picks you guys got. I don't know how your teams are doing after week 1, but we'll see. Anders, can you hear me right now?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Oh, cool. All right. So, hey, what's your biggest game this week? Week 2 in the NFL. Who are you looking for?
I can't. I'm sorry. You're breaking up a little bit. Is it this week or did you say last week?
We're talking about this week.
Ooh, all right. Well, I'll start off with Thursday. Broncos and Chiefs are looking like they're going to be huge games. Thursday night game and everything. That's going to be big time. Peyton Manning going out there. Chiefs. Hopefully they can find their passing game like they lost last year. Like, I would say the game that I'm looking most out of all of them is definitely I think Falcons and Giants. I think that game's going to be big time. Falcons. I mean, I said last week on the show that Julio Jones is going to have a big year, and he started proving me right. So I'm hoping that he can continue that. But the Giants and OBJ, they're looking like they're going to be a force to be reckoned with here. So I think that's going to be an underrated game.
Giants Falcons. Wait, who do you have in that game?
What's that?
Can you hear me? Yeah, I'm here. I know she said the Giants are definitely a force to be reckoned with. Do you think they get the W against the Falcons? Falcons are looking kind of hot right now. What do you think? Definitely. Yo, last week you gave us the prediction. Julio Jones, you said he was going to be hot, and he was definitely that. So I definitely have to applaud you on that. I'm still going with that Falcons offense. I think they're going to be great this year, win the NFC South. What about Monday Night Football, Jets and Colts? I'll get the table's take on this as well as Anderson. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? About Monday Night Football, we got the Jets at the Colts. Who's taking the win?
Oh, I have the Colts. They bounced back from that loss against the Bills, and they found a way to get it done. I think Andrew Luck will have a good game. Andre Johnson out there, wide out. I think he's definitely going to have a big game as well.
I'm actually going to go with the Jets in this game. I really like the Jets defense with Darrelle Revis and Antonio Cromartie on the other end. Todd Bowles got them boys playing, that defense playing really well. And I think the Colts they struggled with the Bills last week, another tough defense. I don't see them getting back on track. I got the Jets in this game going up to Indy and taking it.
I kind of agree with you. I got the Jets. I didn't expect the Colts to look like they did against the Bills, but they struggled. Plus, T.Y., he's out with a knee injury for the next 2 or 3 weeks. That'll definitely affect them. They'll have to have guys step up, but, I mean, you can't really replace T.Y. And against people like Darrelle Revis and Cromartie, I don't know if the Colts can win that. I think I'll go with the Jets in a close game for that.
Awesome. Hey, Anderson, are you still with us? Are you gone? You still have him? Okay. So, so we just talked about Monday night. Sunday night is another huge game against the Seahawks and the Packers. So I kind of see the Pack taking that win, but that's definitely in the air. I really don't see at the same time the Seahawks going 0-2. It's just like hard to think about right now. But what do you guys think? Who's getting the win?
Who's getting the win? I think the Packers will probably get the win. I mean, the Seahawks are still without Chancellor. I'm surprised he's held out this long, but he's not in there anymore. The Rams did pretty well against them. They lost against the Rams, so I mean, I don't know. I like Horace said, I don't know if I can see them going 0-2, but they're playing such a good team with the Packers. So I don't know. I think the Packers will win that one.
I think the Seahawks bounce back this week and beat the Green Bay Packers. I know they're going up to Green Bay and Lambeau. It being a Sunday night football game. I got the Seahawks in this game. I think that loss against the Rams last week it's really going to challenge them. I think they're going to play with their backs against the wall type of mentality. They're going to take it and hand it to the Packers this week.
I like the Packers at home. Eddie Lacy, he's going to play a huge role in this game, running the ball. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to pass the ball like he maybe wants to against Sherman, Earl Thomas, guys like that. I think it's going to come down to Eddie Lacy in a running game.
Awesome. I'm not sure if Anderson's still with us, but he would love this topic. He always wants to talk about baseball. I noticed you guys put it on the lineup for this week. So we're going to quickly touch on baseball before we head out. Who's the dark horse in the league? Who do you think is going to make it that people don't really think is going to make the cut for the playoffs?
I definitely like the Dodgers. Their pitching staff is one of the best in the league. Clayton Kershaw, Zach Greinke at the top. I like their pitching. If they can get their offense going at the right time, they can heat up.
I think this one is going to surprise people. I think the Texas Rangers might be a dark horse in the league. They're going to come up as of late. I like their pitching. Like they're hitting with Prince Fielder, Mitch Moreland, and Adrian Beltre, Elvis Andrus, and those guys. They've really been on a tear as of late and been on the come up, and they actually just took the lead in their division. So I think they're definitely one of those dark horse teams.
I think I'm going to agree with you. I think the Dodgers, they have pretty good pitching with Kershaw and Greinke, so I think the Dodgers are a pretty good dark horse in baseball.
Awesome. Another short kind of mini topic we're going to touch on is everybody knows that Floyd Mayweather officially retires after winning his last fight, going 49-0. Is he really done? Do any of you guys think he's actually done? Is he hanging it up? Is he moving on to better things? Or is he going to come back for like one more fight, you think?
Well, Floyd, he's 38 years old, almost at 40. I think he's still going to come back and get that 50th win. Maybe a rematch with Manny Pacquiao if he's healthy. I definitely would like to see a rematch between those two.
That'd be crazy, yeah. I think that's definitely his best kind of market fight. If he's, of course, everyone knows Mayweather's in it for the money. That's definitely like, I feel like, of course, he'll never make as much money as he did that one night. But maybe if you wait a year or so, kind of get his name out of the media, and he bounces back with a rematch against Pacquiao, and they kind of definitely market that fight like kind of boxing always does, I think it will be a success. What do you think, Matthew?
I think he's going to retire for a little bit, and then if somebody wants to challenge him, if they're kind of talking trash to him, he might come back, show him what he's all about, probably get his 50th win. So, I mean, it depends. I'm assuming he'll come back in a year or so if someone talks enough junk to him.
I think the world would love to see a Manny Pacquiao Floyd Mayweather rematch. When you look in the past and look at all the boxing greats and all the the great matchups, you always see that there was always a part two. It wasn't just one fight and they stopped there. I think Mayweather and Pacquiao should link up one more time for another fight, and it'll have, it'll be at high stakes with Floyd going for his 50th win. So I definitely don't think he's done at all. He's always changing his mind.
I gotta agree with you on that. Definitely. Hey guys, that's actually all we got for you this week. Took you through some college football, some NFL, a little bit of baseball, a little bit of boxing. Don't forget, tomorrow night, Clemson versus Louisville on ESPN. They're having a showing, screening the game at the Hendricks Student Center. So they're doing a tailgate. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Get all the students in one room to watch that game and cheer on the Tigers. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching The Extra Point. Go Tigers and have a great rest of your week.